Welcome back for another episode, everybody. This episode is day one of a 3-day solo mission. Plenty of amazing underwater footage in this one, as well as something special for a lucky subscriber. We've got plenty to run through on this one, so grab a drink, chill out, and let's get stuck into it. Welcome back for another episode. As you would have caught in that intro, this is going to be day one of a 3-day solo mission out on my trusty Haynes Hunter. A couple of nights sleeping on the boat, eating what I catch, and just spending some good quality time out on the water. You'll also notice I am currently surrounded in fish prints, and that is for a good reason. So I've been busy working away, setting out and mounting a couple of fish prints. So you can see up on the wall here, I've got another one on the go down here on the table. And that's because this episode will feature the first of 5 fish print giveaways I want to do. So if you want your chance to take home one of these pretty cool bits of artwork I've been working on, make sure you watch right to the end of the video. I'll have all the details and info at the end of this one. Righto, let's jump into day one of that 3-day solo mission exploring that beautiful Mackay Coast. Welcome back, everybody. Like most days, I started nice and early, got down to the harbour, chucked the bait in, started making my way out. There's actually a little bit of rain around straight up in the morning, but I knew that the weather was going to improve on this day and on the coming days, so I started heading out with the goal of chasing some Spanish straight up in the morning. Now, I had no luck at all on the Spanish. The footage, just everything, didn't find any fish, didn't find much bait, so you're not going to see any of that footage. Where we're going to pick up is when I move to a spot, a really, really good spot, and this is one of the first dives on that spot that you're about to see here. You'll see it coming here, around that sort of 5 kilo Blackspot tuskfish. They're pretty plentiful here on the Mackay Coast, normally pretty skittish, especially when you dive bomb them like what I've done here. But on this particular day, they were sort of extra curious. They were turning, they were giving me pretty easy shots. I got some pretty cool footage of another one just sort of free swimming. I'm not sure why they were like that, but my focus was about to change. You can see here I've just spotted a big school of Fingermark. That was going to be my next goal. I wanted to get a decent Fingermark out of that school. So with Fingermark on the mind, just after I shot that Blackspot tuskfish as well, a good Spanish came in. So on the way down here, you can hear me grunting. I'm looking around now. The fingers were hanging around a big school of slaty brim. I'm just sort of sitting on the bottom here, and I did kind of rush back for this dive, so I didn't have a really good breathe up. I wasn't at all relaxed, and my dive time definitely suffered for it. And I just spot the Fingermark sort of coming in right at the back end of the dive out behind those slaties there. Sort of can't quite see him in the footage, but you can see I'm sort of locked in on them there. Now they were just holding out wide. I did do a few dives and they sort of did a similar thing each time, so I thought I'll leave these guys alone, I'll move back, move away, see what else I can find. I pretty well just let the current sort of take me away, and I ended up probably about 80 meters away roughly from where I saw those Fingermark. Completely different area, nowhere near the pressure point, and it didn't take me long to find a really, really good trout. I spotted this guy from the surface. You can tell when I've spotted something from the surface. I notice in the footage as I'm swimming down, my hand's sort of on the trigger, or not on the trigger, but on the handle of the gun. I normally like to hold my gun sort of mid-rail as I dive down, so it's definitely a bit of a tell when you can see that I've got my hand on the handle of the gun somewhere near the trigger as I'm swimming down. You can tell I've spotted something from the surface for sure. Really good trout, around that sort of 3.5 kilo mark, I reckon, 3 kilos, something like that. Great fish, great fillets off this guy, and it turns out this is the one I was going to have for dinner as well. So I always brain spike my fish, always bleed my fish, and then I get to work getting a spear out. As well as that, you see me sort of looking around here, and I tend to do this. I'll get that bit of a sense that something's around or something's going on, something's amiss, and that's what it was. I knew there was something sort of creeping or lurking behind me, and it was a shark. It was a decent sized shark too, around that sort of 8-foot mark. I'm not 100% sure on what species it was. Looks like maybe a whaler. But it came in for 2 looks there, turned around to my left, came in for another look up a little bit higher in the column. and then it sort of turned off and went on its way, and I didn't actually see that shark again. So I figured now's probably a good time to head back to the boat, chuck that trout up into the boat, and I'll head out, see if I can't find that school of Fingermark again. Now, you can't make this stuff up. I decided halfway back I might reload the gun, or at least have the shaft into the gun and one rubber on, just in case that shark did come back. And just as I got to the boat, another great Blackspot tuskfish comes swimming underneath me. Nearly a pigeon pair to that first one. You see there I'm still a little bit worried that sharks followed me, so I sort of checked behind my back there. Still got the trout in my hand there as I dove down as well. Made equalising pretty hard. I had that trout sort of shoved into my face.
How good is that?
Now, if you got those couple of fish out at the reef, you'd be absolutely stoked, and it just goes to show how good the fishery is here in Mackay. A couple of great fish just straight out off the coast. I actually anchored the boat not too far from that pressure point, so I thought I'll rip everything out, I'll chuck these fish up in the transom. Yeah, I thought it'd be a bit difficult sort of trying to climb up into the boat, holding the fish and trying to get a hold to get up over the transom here. I'm not a real fan of sort of throwing them over the side onto the floor of the boat. I don't know why, it just doesn't sit right with me for some reason. Sort of feels disrespectful to the fish. See, I fumble and drop the spear there. It's kind of lucky I did, because I spotted this guy. Another great Tusky. And like always, when you're in a bit of a rush, or you feel like you need to be in a little bit of a rush, you fumble a heap, and it took me forever to load this gun. It felt like forever anyway. Finally got the spear in, and that fish just hung around. I was so curious on this day for some reason. Got the spear in, got both rubbers loaded this time. Head down, it sort of started heading away from me a little bit. I had to sort of catch up to it. But again, dove down, dive bombing this fish, and watch it turn. Kind of like a trout. It turned, it looked like it was about to take off to the right there. And I managed to put a really good shot on this Tusky. I got pretty well similar shots on all three fish, or all three Tuskies at least. And the trout even, actually. Got the trout through the head as well. Pretty good day on the spear so far.
Alright, that's enough Tuskies.
Right, yeah, it was time to process this fish, get it up in the boat, and start making my way out, see if I can't find that school of Fingermark again. So you can see the school of fingers swimming underneath me there. I've just swam up past that pressure point again. I've spotted them. They're sort of come in a little bit closer to the pressure point this time. Sort of milling around. It's pretty cool just sitting up there watching them. Had really good viz on this day. I think it was about 8 to 10 meters deep here. Watching them sort of split up, and then I'll move in and start swimming with the slaties, and a few of them will break off, and it's really cool to see. Start making my way down here. You can see a couple sort of take off with the slaties there. Then they all sort of come back together again and do their thing. Cruising around, staying out wide there. Sort of watch them off in the distance, and I figured I see them sort of take off a little bit wider out there, so I figure they're doing a little bit of a circuit. I might head up, leave them alone for a little bit, and then do another dive, see if I can't get one out of that school. Now while all that was happening, hit the surface, started breathing up, thinking, righto, I'm going to get one of these fingers, and I had a really good Tusky swim underneath me, so I took the opportunity to dive down. Rather than spear this fish, I thought I'll dive down, get a little bit of footage of it. Start heading down here. Like what I said before, see how I had the gun mid-handle or mid-rail? I had no intentions of shooting this fish. Just wanted to get down, see if I could get some good footage of it. Again, I was super curious. They would just sit and turn. Just gonna do it here. Just sort of sat there. That's where you take your shot. Or you could have taken it any time there, really. But while I'm down there, I have a bit of a scout around for those fingers. I'll head back up, breathe up, try and find that school of Fingermark, and didn't take long for him to come back in again. I actually went out a little bit further. You can see I'm sort of a little bit more sandy where I am here. Just out past those rocks a little bit more. I start making my way down here. I sort of angled this dive a little bit towards the fish. I really should have just went straight to the bottom, and I reckon it would have came straight in. I get down to the bottom here, and what you can't see is I'm using my left hand to throw a bit of sand up, and I reckon that sparked a bit of curiosity in the fish, or in the school, and they came around. I could see a big one sort of mid-pack there, and I just had eyes for that big one. I managed to get it, but unfortunately a little bit of collateral damage there. Hit another one on the way through. But a couple of great fish. Even that smaller one, you see, I'll chuck it up in the bait here. It went 45, 46 centimeters, something like that. You'll see it in the footage in a sec. But yeah, that bigger fish, great fish, and a really, really healthy school of fish there as well. Now, I'm yet to find those really, really big finger marks. I reckon we're getting closer and closer each time we find them, so I can't wait to get one of those bigger models. But these guys are great eating, just delicious. I'm really a big fan of the finger mark. Great fish. They look awesome too.
So finger mark, have got to be 35. Just double check this fella. I knew I was gonna hit him, but oh, he's up in the 40s. This is the one I wanted. There was some bigger ones there, but this guy was sort of closer, and that was an amazing experience.
So quick recap of that first spot, and I'll just let you guys know what my plans are for the next couple of days. As you can see, it's pretty rough out here at the moment. It's going to calm down a lot over the next 2 days. So I've decided to do 2 nights out on the water. I don't know if I'm going to hate that or not, but so my plan was to basically stay on the coast this morning, which I have done. I've got some amazing fish on the coast. So now I'm going to probably not dive too much more today. I might have one more dive once I head out. I'm going to head out to an island now. Yeah, for now I want to show you these cracking fish I've got. Now unfortunately the audio, or that wind just got terrible, and the audio was terrible as a result. I just wanted to show you guys these fish out of the water. That trout just looked amazing. That finger mark as well, equally as amazing. You can see why they call them golden snapper. And of course that big tusky or big bluey. They are such an amazing fish, and they're just a beautiful fish to look at. I love a tusky. So that was it for the coast. It was time to head out, spend a bit of time out at the islands, and find somewhere to spend the night. So I had intended to stay on the back of Brampton Island. It looked like a really good anchorage in there, and I thought there shouldn't be too many people there. It's midweek. But then I remembered yachties, they don't really have weekends, so they're sort of anywhere at any time. And on this particular day, there was a heap of them parked up in behind Brampton there. So I moved over to Carlisle Island, which is right beside Brampton, found a really good anchorage in there, and yeah, knocked the sides off a trout and made up a bit of dinner. So I've just knocked the side off a trout. I'm going to have some of that sashimi. It's come up really, really nice. Cold trout, can't complain about that. Apart from that, guys, I'm going to tuck into this, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed checking out that day one. We've still got a few more days to go, heaps of more content to come out of that one, so make sure you stay tuned for those upcoming episodes. Righto, let's have a quick chat about these giveaways, how I'm going to run it, and my thoughts on the whole process and all that sort of stuff, and I'll give you a bit of a better look at them as well. I want to keep this whole process pretty simple, and I want to try and keep it as genuine as possible. And what I mean by that is, I don't want people commenting just because they want this. I more prefer people commenting, liking the video, watching the video, and sort of returning to keep watching my content. I don't want you to just come along, leave a comment, try and win one of these, and then that's it. So that's another reason why I've got all this info at the back end of the video. I'm hoping you've watched the whole video, and now you get a chance to take home one of these. Rightio, if you would like to take home one of these prints, now the takeaway fish for this episode was that finger mark right at the start of the day on day one, and that's this guy just here. So if you'd like to take home that print, all you need to do is leave a comment on this video. It doesn't have to be like, hey, I want the print. It can be a comment about anything, questions about my gear, about previous videos, really about anything. And staying in line with the whole keeping it genuine thing, just one comment per follower, please, if you could. So all I'm going to do is just randomly select one of the comments from this video. You get to take this print home, and I will announce the winner on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button, click that like button, leave a comment for your chance to take home that fish print. Thanks again, and I'll catch everybody on the next episode, and good luck.